Expansive with Anna Gatman here, and today I want to read to you another of my daily readings from Eileen Caddy's book, Opening Doors Within. It's my daily meditation. Eileen Caddy was one of the co-founders of the Findhorn Spiritual Community Education Centre and Eco Village in northern Scotland, and my teachings come from that lineage. And today the focus, I love the reading that I picked for you for today. It's from August 2nd, and it is about intuition being an act of love. And as I teach a lot about intuition and have, developed the 4 keys to spiritual material balance, which focus on how to become intuitive: expansive presence, attentive listening, intuitive guidance, and then inspired action and faith-filled knowing. So intuition is very dear to me and something that I keep studying as I work with people. And so I love this, that intuition is an act of love. And here's the beautiful reading from August 2nd. And just to say that Eileen Caddy would hear a voice, she'd actually hear a voice which she identified as the voice of God within her own divinity. And so this is the message from August 2nd. Learn to act spontaneously, to act by intuition, and to do what your heart prompts you to do, not just what your mind tells you is reasonable and sensible. Some acts of pure love may appear to be very unreasonable, even foolish, in the eyes of others, but it matters not. When you are prompted to act, do so and do not stop to weigh it up or even wonder why you are doing it. That small act of love may have some very far-reaching effect. It may not even reveal itself to begin with. Do not waste time looking for results. Simply do what you know you must do, and then leave the rest to me. Sometimes it may take a long time for that seed of love to germinate in a hard, cold heart. But once it has been planted, sooner or later, it will show itself. All you have to do is do your part in faith and know that all is very, very well. And so I want to touch upon a few things here that all bring it to this beautiful perspective, which I've never thought of, that intuition is an act of love. Now, why is it an act of love? So intuition occurs when we are in a more of an expansive state. That's why my first key is expansive presence. When you're more spacious in your thinking and in your feeling and in your sensing, you actually open yourself up to a larger field of information. This is when you're constricted and fearful and your body's like this. You see the world from a very narrow perspective. But when you feel spacious, you're trusting, you're relaxed, you feel peaceful, then you are opening yourself up to a larger field of information. And that's what intuition is. It's just this larger field of information, of connections from the whole that show up unexpectedly, suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere. And you go, wow, why didn't I think of this before? This is exactly what I need to do, right? This creative burst of inspiration or a solution for something that you've been, mulling in your head for a while, and you weren't maybe thinking about it, but you expanded your consciousness and you listened attentively, and suddenly you got a solution for something that you need to do in your relationship or in your finances or in your self-care or in a team that you're working with, whatever you're dealing with. And so I realize that it is an act of love, because there's a saying that intuition always has your best interest. It always has your back. And the reason is because you are opening up to the larger field of reality. And as you do that, you're actually serving the whole, not just a narrow perspective, a fearful and anxious perspective, but a more spacious one that's more inclusive, one that's interconnected, interdependent. And so it is an act of love. It's an act of love for you, and it's an act of love for the focus of your intuition. Whatever the issue may be, as I mentioned, what it might be, your intuitive solution is one of, it's life affirming, it's creating more wholeness. It's something that serves the issue to grow towards greater wholeness and to be more life affirming. And so that's why I realize it is an act of love to be intuitive. So here we've covered what intuition is and how it occurs, really very briefly. We've also covered why it is an act of love, why I realize it's such a beautiful act of love. And so what remains is really to look at the faith, at the part of not looking for the result, but just doing what feels right. I'm in the right place, at the right moment, doing the right thing, saying the right thing right now. That's all that counts, because that's what needs to be done now. That's what I need to show up for and say or do right now. That's what my heart tells me. That's what my creative part is telling me now. It's like, do that. Don't try to be logical or does it make sense or not. So you want to have a lot of faith. When you're intuitive, you want to, and that's why the fourth key to spiritual material balance is faith-filled knowing. Because it's really about building your knowing and your faith that you're doing the right thing. Even if you don't see exactly why it's happening now, it will be revealed to you. And if it's something that's far reaching, you might not even know that you're affecting somebody else's life or a situation. But in your immediate life, you might see exactly why it happened that way and why what's going on now is perfect, and it's due to the intuitive hunch that you had before. And so the final thing I want to tell you is that, there's always a war between intuition and reason. Should we be more intuitive, or should we be rational, logical thinkers? And we really need both. And here's what we need each one of them for. We need intuition to lead the way. Because when we are taking in a larger field of information and getting an intuitive hunch, inner knowing, a gut feeling, that's the direction that we need to take. But then to act upon that direction, we need rational thinking, logical problem solving. That's where reasoning comes in. How can we make that intuitive hunch happen? I mean, even as scientists, they have an intuitive, creative hunch to study something. Then they go methodically about doing it. But the initial curiosity is, this and this happened, so what if I studied so-and-so? That's the creative, intuitive hunch. And so intuition always is there first to lead the way and lead the direction, and then you need to have faith and go back into a spaciousness, into relaxation, to trust your intuition. And then you can go about reasoning how to go about it, but not why to go about it. So I hope that clarifies how you can work with your intuition and why intuition is an act of love. Wherever you're watching this, leave a comment, share an insight, share your experience. Tell me how intuition is an act of love for you. I leave you with blessings of intuition, love, and faith.